Well, obviously, the cancellation of the anti-IPO caused a lot of concern about regulatory involvement in the entire tech sector. And remember, the darlings of the tech sector are service oriented. And so far, they haven't been untouched by the trade war because they're not producing chips and hard goods that would be tariff affected. And most of their business is domestic. But now with the cancellation of the anti-IPO, it looks like that whole service sector may be under regulatory scrutiny. So people are essentially throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because I don't think it'll be quite that broad brush.
What does it say about Chinese authorities? Do they still welcome homegrown tech startup companies?
Well, there's always been a kind of a love them, hate them attitude among the central bank towards a lot of these tech companies. They love them because it's the wave of the future. Obviously, China is making its mark on the transactions and payment systems and so forth. On the other hand, they're concerned about financial stability. And as some people like the Financial Times have all talked about, there's the issue of control. What happened with the Ant IPO was, I think, a combination of just a lot of angry regulators at Jack Ma's speech, coupled with concerns by the banks, particularly the state banks, who were very powerful, about losing market share to this upstart. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but overall, right now, we're in a slight retrenchment.
Andrew, is there any upside to this move, though? I mean, we have heard from some guests who actually look at this as a positive step by the Chinese authorities. And you could say, look, more scrutiny on the fintech side actually encourages some investors going forward as part of this effort to broaden their public markets.
No, I mean, I disagree with this particular move. You don't yank a $35 billion IPO 2 days before it's going to be launched internationally. It makes the regulatory system look completely arbitrary and also confused. And it suggests deep politics within China that's bubbled to the surface and they couldn't resolve ahead of time. That's ridiculous. However, the fintech area definitely has to be scrutinized. But remember, they cracked down on the PDP space 2 years ago. Ant itself used to lend its own money as a bank with few regulatory controls. And the PBOC 2 years ago basically said you can't do that anymore. And Ant's margins fell quite sharply. So the PBOC has been sort of on top of this, but there's a lot of other actors in the system. So overall, regulation can be positive, but this particular move was a disaster.